Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, I'm going to pop into the Soulforge and tell you what is good and bad in there. And then I'm going to show you my teams for Journey and Underspire. The Journey team actually works particularly well, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. But first up, Soulforge. Also going to take a look at his weekly event, the Winged Donkey. Holy heck, are the devs on drugs when they make these things? Winged Donkey. Anyway, deals magic-based damage to the first enemy and knock them to the back. Destroy a random column. So a bit of mana gen, some damage and knocking an enemy to the back can be useful when you want to get rid of that dangerous enemy from first place. But only really works, that kind of strategy, if the rest of the team is mana blocking. That troop can make it actually worse sometimes if that troop at the back now still gets its mana by collecting the same colours immediately. But yeah, Winged Donkey. Allied centaurs gain 2 life, immunity to stun, and gain bonus yellow from yellow gem matches. Not entirely rubbish. The knock to the back is always useful for certain teams. Only 11 mana, not too bad. Just get bonus mana 2 and immune to stun. 5 out of 10 for you, you donkey. Anyway, my grandma started walking 5 miles a day when she was 65. She's now 92, and we have no idea where she is. Oh my goodness. Right, anyway, let's take a look in the Soulforge then. Let's start with the weapons, then we'll change to the troops. Don't get this from here. This is the Journey weapon, the Beaten Path, dealing magic-based damage to an enemy, boosted by yellow allies and centaur allies. So an okay weapon, but definitely pick it up from the Journey shop if you can. You're going to just save diamonds that way. Like, it's going to cost you some diamonds if you do it this way, and much better to get it with gems because you're going to buy them tiers anyway to help out your guild, I presume. Anyway, let's take a look at these other weapons. Not going to include the ones here which are here all the time. They're in my Soulforge extra video, which will be in a link in the description below. First up, we have Doomed Chronicle, dealing magic-based scatter damage with a +4 per tempering level boost. Create a mix of 6 purple gems and skulls for every purple enemy. Give 3 magic to all allies, and if the enemy has a doom, give 5 more. So, against all purple enemy, that is a very potentially devastating skull-based team there. That is going to create a heck of a lot of skulls, and purple can self-charge and do it again as well. Absolutely lethal in the right team. So, a very good doomed weapon there. I do like that one. But yeah, only works really against an all-purple team. That's when it's at its absolute best. Shooting Star. Dispel all enemies, deal magic-based damage to an enemy and eliminate half their attack. So, quite a strategic weapon in a way. Dispelling all enemies takes away positive status effects like enchant and barrier and things like that. And half their attack and a bit of damage at the same time. So yeah, not too bad if you like a little bit of strategic stuff. Rosebow. Deal magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by Divinian Fields allies. Then create a mix of 6 blue and yellow gems for each Divinian Fields ally. Uses green and purple, creates blue and yellow, so make sure you got at least a couple of blue and yellow mana using troops in your team from Divinian Fields to make the most of all that mana. Firefly does damage to an enemy based on your magic, boosted by Centaur allies, then creates a mix of 6 green and yellow gems for each Centaur ally. So it's kind of similar to that previous weapon. This one uses purple and brown and creates green and yellow. Make sure you've got a couple of Centaur troops using green and or yellow. Otherwise you're creating mana for a laugh. And you don't want to have a laugh really, you want loads of juicy mana. Staff of the Fields. Remove all yellow gems with no effect. Deal magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by gems removed. If the enemy is from Divinian Fields or if the battle is in Divinian Fields, deal double damage. So kind of the anti-Divinian Fields weapon is in a way. Yellow is the colour they like the most, and by removing that you are hindering their chances of getting mana quickly. Which is good for you, not so much for them. Eye of Orion. Explode magic +1 yellow gems. Grant a random status effect to all Divinian Fields allies. Then summon a Divinian Fields troop. So nice. Explodey, summony weapon, do like this one. Got some cool upgrades as well. Peaceful is good. Silence the first enemy when you cast it as well. Stops from getting mana, stops from casting spells. Peaceful, really good little extra effect of the Eye of Orion. Wand of Stars, if you've got enough resources, craft it. Fantastic weapon, best in the game. Ridiculously overpowered. Obscene even. Pure filth. And who else we got? Any more for any more? We have a verdant... I nearly read that as verdant beaver then. Verdant Reaver. Yes, a Verdant Reaver, not Beaver. Deal magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by green allies and centaur allies. That's again a couple of nice upgrades, Tangling and Leaf. Leaf is Leaf Storm, which means more green than normal, and it uses green so it can get charged up quicker. And Tangling will entangle the first enemy when you cast it. So yeah, that's a nice weapon as well. So let's jump into the troops now. Always look through these summoning stones, see if there's anybody there that's particularly useful who you haven't got. You're kind of looking for empowered troops, goblins, or anybody that's just a decent troop all around. So have a little gander through them, especially if you're a newer player to the game like Goblet. So Goblin entangles the first 2 enemies, gives half mana to the first 2 allies, gains an extra turn. That sort of thing is always useful. Have a little look through the other ones quick. Egg Thief, decent troop. Destroys random gems, boosted by gold, gains gold, so destroy more on the next turn. And as a summon as well. Not too bad. Very good when you get more power in the game. Sistu Superior. Really good troop this. Starts battles with full mana, so ready to go straight away once you've got that 3rd trait. And cleanse all allies immediately and gain an extra turn. So if you don't like starting off being entangled or stuff like that and you find that annoying, you can have Sistu Superior in your team. Start battles with full mana and cleanse yourself off and get an extra turn absolutely straight away. Very, very useful. Indeed, Thrall, another useful troop, just gets better and better as you gain more power in the game. So yeah, a few good troops there today. Right, anything else? Right, let's scroll down and take a look at the mythics first, then we'll take a very quick look at the legendaries. Oh, the past one there, easy to do because he's not that great for a mythic. Deals magic-based true damage to an enemy boosted by barriered allies and giant allies. He's kind of been left behind a little bit with the power creep of the game. And yeah, he's not a very good mythic these days, but hey, it is what it is. Jotnar. Storm Shield. Sounds more scary than he actually is. Ishtara. Magic-based damage to all enemies. Then create 9 yellow gems boosted by blessed allies. The boost is 1-to-1, so if you have 4 blessed allies, you can do that and then you can create 13 yellow gems, which gives it a chance to self-charge because it uses yellow itself, and you can do it again. And it also has a 50% chance to bless a random ally when my turn begins, and reduce damage from skulls by 40%. So yeah, not bad troop at all, that one. Pretty decent. Quite like it a lot. Much better than Jotnar, that's for sure. Who else we got? Oh, Fairy Nefertani. Pharaoh, doesn't my bum look big in this? Nefertani, she's doing that kind of face, isn't she? Anyway, does damage to an enemy boosted by death-marked enemies. Then curse and disease all enemies. It's kind of pretty rubbish to me. The boost ratio is ×10. So even if you had all death-marked allies, that's going to be another 40 damage. So even at my level, that's just 87 damage to an enemy. And although you get the death mark, a random enemy with matching 4 or more gems, but it's so easy to cleanse off Deathmark these days. You know, Wonder Stars, it's just got an immediate easy cleanse and things like that. So, yeah, not that great for me. It may be good in some teams, but I don't know. Not a fan myself. Who else we got? The Wild King. This is more like it. Enrage all allies, which deals 1.5 times attack and ignores enemy traits. And then give them magic +1 attack. Then create a mix of 22 skulls and yellow gems. The reason why that is so awesome is because, yeah, the attack boost is based on your player level. But even if you're a new player to the game, you are going to create that mix of skulls and yellow gems. 22 skulls and yellow gems. That is really, really cool. And summons a Bone Storm at the start of battle, which is skulls. And all Wildfolk allies gain 1 magic when my turn begins, which basically puts up that damage every single turn. So the Wild King, really good. The only thing to be wary of that is basically it can backfire sometimes. You can cast that and get no alignment and then set the enemy up for a load of yellow and skull hits, and it can end up with 1 of you or 2 of your troops dying, which you obviously don't want. There is a way to combat that. Is basically if you try and entangle the first couple of troops before casting him, then you are basically protecting yourself from that backfire to a certain extent. But still, the Wild King, absolutely fantastic and mythic. And I do believe that was the 4th one. Nebuladrix is the Cosmic Dragon on rotation this week. So if you're just this dragon away from on your path to getting Stellarix, then I'd probably do it if you got the 2000 Dragonite. And that was a lot more expensive than normal. But if you've got 5 of the Cosmic Dragons and you're chasing that last one, you could open 4, 5, 8, 10 more dragons and still get duplicates, which is going to be really, really annoying. This is more Dragonite, but it is actually guaranteed. So, I don't know. Each to their own, but if I had 2000 Dragonite and I just needed this dragon, I know I would be doing it from here. Not taking that gamble again. On the duplicates. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the legendaries. First up is Captain Saltclaw. Does magic-based damage, heavy splash damage to 2 random enemies boosted by blue gems. And give 2 magic to all rogue allies when matching 4 or more gems. And get us a little bit of gold at the same time. Who else we got? Nexus Portal. Create 4 to 6 elemental stars and summon a random Nexus troop. Conjure an elemental storm when matching 4 or more gems is the best of the traits. But yeah, it's not that much elemental stars, so it can easily backfire and end up setting up the enemy, so I'm not a huge fan of that myself. Ankum deals magic base +1 damage to all enemies, boosted by cursed enemies, and for every cursed enemy, give a barrier to a random ally, so not too bad. Especially as it has a 25% chance to curse a random enemy when my curse begins. When my turn begins, when my curse begins. At the same time, so yeah, not too shabby. One more in there. Crimson Bat, really good legendary with this. Magic +1 true damage to all enemies and gain life and do double skull damage to wounded enemies. And double skull damage versus divine as well as a little extra bonus. So Crimson Bat there. Really good legendary, do you like that one? Viable in lots of teams. But who gets my Mythic of the Week? Well, it's not going to be you, Jotnar, not very good anymore. Storm Shield. And Ishtar is good, but not as good as what I know is underneath. And that doesn't mean you. Pharaoh does my bum look big in this Nefertani. There's only one Mythic of the Week this can possibly go to this week, and that is the Wild King. Enrage all allies, give them magic +1 attack, then create a massive mix of skulls and yellow and just cause mass destruction most of the time. Just be careful of the odd backfire. Now onto the Journey event. But you must use the event captain Zebrator. Has ×2 magic and the trait gives ×2 to ×3 to the miles scored in this event only. So absolutely essential to use her. To get her, you're going to pop to the shop, grab at least tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 1 is useful because you use the potion of enchantment, enchant all allies at the start of the battle for this event only. And tier 2 is where you get Zebrator. Does damage to an enemy, then creates 2 yellow gems boosted by Centaur allies. So the chance of an extra turn is not great with these, but it's better than nothing, I suppose, but only just. Tier 3, we get the Beaten Path weapon. This is in the Soulforge at the same time, but better to get it from here because you're probably going to go this far anyway, and you kind of get it for free and don't have to spend any diamonds in the Soulforge, which is good. Deals magic-based damage to an enemy, boosted by yellow allies and Centaur allies. But we're not going to use it for this, and basically to get your Zebrator to Mythic, you can either buy 1 from here and then go out and then use 2 Orbs of Ascension to get it to Mythic, or you can just buy more and more tiers to get enough copies of it to send it to Mythic. Anyway, I did it the first method by getting tier 2 and using a couple of Orbs of Ascension. But let's take a look at the team. Always do the highest miles that you can. We're going to have Rope Dart. As one of the keys with Journey is to basically get as many extra turns as you can. 1 turn in Journey is basically your go, including extra turns. Across to the enemy's turn, their go, including extra turns, back to you again. That is 1 complete turn. And if you complete the battle in 10 turns or less, that is when you pick up the maximum amount of miles. So by having a team where we're going to maximise, hopefully, the amount of extra turns we can get, you give yourself a better chance of completing the battle within 10 rounds. Rope Dart is really good for this. There's an alternative weapon as well, which I often like to use, but I've swapped it for Rope Dart for this one. I'll just come to that in a second. But Rope Dart are really good. Eliminates all armor from an enemy, deals magic-based damage to them, pulls them to first position, and has an extra turn. And Tangling. So it entangles the top troop, which means you're safe from skull damage, which is really important on those later levels when the enemy hits really hard. So Rope Dart, really, really good for that, and I'll show the alternative weapon in just a second. But regarding these troops, you see they all use the same mana colour, but we are restricted to such a lame bunch of troops. A lot of them are just donkeys, literally. And it's like, well, why have I got 3 yellow and green troops here. First of all, we have to have this one anyway, absolutely essential. And Hippolyta does damage to an enemy, then creates 3 green gems boosted by Centaur allies. So that's actually more green than this one creates yellow. So when we create all that green, we've still got a chance of that extra turn, and if we get the match, we're going to start filling up these ones, which then has a chance of an extra turn. And this, again, creates 8 yellow gems, 8 spirit gems, gets enchant. Both chances of an extra turn on the yellow and the blue, because spirit gems are blue, and then if the yellow goes into rope dart, the blue will go into it as well. So that'll charge that up and get in an extra turn, and you can see how it works. And you know, most of these do damage as well, which is good, with a chance of an extra turn. In Oracle class for this, I've got to come to that weapon in a minute before I forget. Not a fantastic bunch of traits by any stretch of the imagination, but in the talent trees we can have Serendipity, we can have Leading Light, we can have Brilliant Aura, and we can have Dawn's Aura. Create a light storm at the start of battle. This is one of the key things to this. Mentor and a Tree of Knowledge. We collect those green, so when we do that, we get enchantment for our rope dart, which is really, really good. Well, if you don't have a rope dart or you fancy doing something a little bit different, the way I usually go about these kind of things is with this sort of weapon here. They're doomed weapons that do damage to an enemy and then create the relevant colour of the event based on the enemy. So this one would create 2 yellow gems for each yellow ally and enemy. So you're going to create 8 gems automatically, but if the enemy's got yellow, then you're going to create even more. What I'd suggest is, if you don't mind swapping the weapon out now and again, is if there's like 3 yellow enemies, it's definitely worth swapping over rope dart for this, because when you do that, you're going to create a whole bunch of yellow gems every single time, and that is going to be really, really effective, as well as do stacks of damage at the same time. So that is definitely an option, the Doomed Spear. But the Mirror Banner is what I'm going for this. +2 yellow, +1 blue, -1 red. Right, let's dive into a couple of battles. Early stages should be fairly straightforward. Should put on a Medal of Anu for this, actually. Just realised I've got 3 Medals of Nisha. Medal of Anu just gives you a nice little bit of a head start as well. Got the storm going, so we may as well grab a bit of that. It's where we can have a bit of fun. We can drag anybody we like to the top. Let's get rid of them. Our storm has given us more yellow than normal. That one's entangled. Let's leave them entangled. They can't hit us. Oh, they got agile. That was a bit sneaky. But here we go. Look, damage to an enemy. Create 3 green gems boosted by centaurs. There you go. We've got a extra turn. Let's charge her up again. Finish off. So we're kind of creating lots of green and lots of yellow, which where the team is green and yellow, that's a good thing. And on to the next. Always do the highest miles battle if you can. Get the Valraven when it's there, make sure it don't flap off. Well, that was rather juicy, Lucy. So let's do it again. Let's get rid of that. Let's charge her up again. So we're doing the kind of opposite the way the journey was intended to work, but it works so well because we've just got so many green and yellow enemies. Yeah, this is actually doing this is like Journey in reverse. And we'll finish them off anyway. Kaboosh! Yeah, 35 miles. We'll see. This storm helping out at the beginning. Light storm, so much yellow going on, and it is nuts. See, this is where it's not too bad on the doomed weapon, you see, because there's a couple of yellow using troops there. Right, let us grab that first. Get the extra turn, or bashing them to the top. Could get this to get lots of yellow. That's going to be guaranteed to get up, but you can go through it with this. Get lucky with that green. There you go. It's working rather well. Only a handful of turns that time, not even that, I don't think. Right, let's just do 1 or 2 more battles and we'll jump forward into some more difficult ones. So I say the key, if you like, to Journey is extra turns and safety. And on the harder levels, when the enemies get more dangerous, it's really useful to actually have those top troops entangled, the ones that are going to do humongous skull damage to you if you get clobbered. I think we'll get green and yellow actually. Guaranteed extra turn, providing you're not frozen with rope dart. There we go, we'll have a little slice of that and then get the fudge out of it. Yeah, this is good. No mythic required. Let's do this 75 miles battle. Then we'll jump into something a bit more difficult. What should we do? Bit of green. Green gives us the enchantment as well, remember? If you haven't already got it or you've used it. Oh, let's get rid of her. Take advantage of those entangled gems when they appear. All that green on the board. Good chance for an extra turn. Yeah, we've kind of turned this Journey team on its head, really. It's kind of like a Journey with yellow and green at the same time. Right, let's just do a few more battles. But yeah, this team is working really, really well. Double Pathfinder, effectively. You don't get the extra miles from this one, of course, but it has got the Pathfinder trait, but you don't get double the miles. Just making that clear. This is just simply here for all that extra green. So it works in a very similar way to the way the standard Pathfinder works. Don't mind giving them a little hit. Well, was going to. It turned out we didn't even have to. Well, what the heck. Right, let us grab some... We'll go grab this to get the green, because we need that for our second troop down, and that means we get the enchantment again for our top troop. Splash it on them, we've got the extra turn. And don't need to take that because they're entangled anyway. I'd rather get my rope dart up. Again, nice and sharpish. Right, there's quite a lot of green there. But let's do this first. This is a guaranteed extra turn. Get rid of them. Recharged. Yeah. See you later. No miles dropped so far. Alright. Let's do another one. What have we got? Always good to get green if you can. Especially if you've used the enchantment first. Otherwise, grab some yellow for rope dart. Grab anybody who's dangerous straight to the top. Tina, that is going to be you. And if you grab green again, rope dart will be enchanted. So it'll be ready to go again in absolutely no time. Right, let's do this. Got a chance of an extra turn. That did work out good. Self-charged. Well, grab that while it's there. When you get both of these up, rope dart and Hippolyta, then always use rope dart first because it's a guaranteed extra turn if you're not frozen into oblivion. Here we go again, look. Hit on the enemy that's got the most stuff, most stats, most life and armour. There's quite a lot of green here, so let's go with this again. It's going to get rid of either of these. Always target the troop that wasn't entangled, and done. Yeah, that's working really, really well. Now onto the Underspire team. Same kind of issue with the Journey event, really. A bit of a lame choice of troops to pick from. Like the Bolt Breaker would be a pretty good choice for this, doing that damage to all and exploding gems at the same time. Getting a nice charge at the same time. But presuming no mythics are in your team, we'll go with something like this. This is actually not too bad. Atlanta does damage to all enemies by chucking out arrows into the air and just getting everybody. Bull Tauros, scatter damage boosted by his life. So the scatter damage is initially sort of low, in my case 73, but with your life added to that as well, because it's a 1-to-1 ratio, that becomes a significant amount. The only downside for that is if he gets damage, obviously, on his life, it does reduce the amount of damage that does. So we'll have him in third place, because Atlanta doesn't get affected like that. Oneros is actually very useful for this as well, especially on the later levels, draining mana from all enemies and inflicting fairy fire and burning them. When you afflict that fairy fire, they're going to get 50% extra damage from our 2 damage dealers. And we'll use Eye of Orion to explode yellow gems, give a random status effect to all Divinian Field allies, and have a summon at the same time. Remember this as a summon as well, if you lose a troop, which is kind of useful. Class for this can be your choice in a way. I like to be Geomancer class, gives us a nice quick start regarding mana. I just like the things like Anti-Magic Sphere, Tactician, Rock Solid, Tree of Knowledge, things like that. We don't actually collect a brown or green for this, but it will happen automatically sometimes when we just cast Eye of Orion. Actually, we get brown for it, of course. But the green may happen by itself when we explode those gems. The banner for this, I'm going for the Crypt Banner, +2 red, +1 purple, -1 green. And like I say, Geomancer class I chose for this, but it can be your choice if you want the extra status effects from the weapon when you cast it. If it'll go over there. You can change that to Oracle, so you get the status effect at the same time. Or you go to Elementalist if you want a slower start, but safer. Let's do a few battles. See how it goes. That's the benefit of that. You get a nice quick start on it. Let's grab that first, actually. Explode those gems. That's got Atlanta up. She chucks her arrows in the air and cabooses everyone out of it. Groovy. Said she, not they. Grab your free lantern. Thank you very much, mate. Take your big chin out of here. And onwards and upwards. Like I say, on the early levels, Bulturos and Atlanta will make short work of the opposition. But as they get tougher, it certainly is worth charging up Eros to get that nice mana drain and that fairy fire effect for the extra damage. You can put on Medal of Anu if you want to make things quicker regarding mana. Give you 20% head start on mana, which is nice. Yeah, let's just go left. Usually go right, because right's normally right? Let's grab some of that. We're enchanted. Explode gems. Atlanta's ready. Boosh. It was a good shot with them bats. She fired her arrows up into the air and got them on the way down. What if she was in a little cave with low headroom? I've got to stop thinking too literally about this game. So she could fire them horizontally. No, stop thinking literally. It's a game. It doesn't matter. It's like Hollywood. Hollywood films. You can't look at some of the things happening and go, hey, hang on, that don't make any sense because this, that and the other. It's Hollywood. You don't think about that sort of thing. You just forget about it and enjoy it for what it is. What am I wittering on about? I have no idea. Right, let's make this the last battle. Just remember to charge up Eros when things start to get a bit tougher. We'll get that anyway because we get the rock solid barrier. Explode those gems. There we go. Let's give Bulturos a little bit of action. He's been sitting at the back wondering what he's there for. Does a decent amount of damage. Whatever it is, there's the video. There's this Soulforge, the Journey team, the Underspire team, all rolled into one. If you enjoyed the video, found it useful or helpful, it'd be really cool if you bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. But most of all, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.